Welcome to the Castro Valley Compass, navigating your week through Castro Valley. Brought to you by the Castro Valley School of Music. We bring music to life. For information about private and group music lessons, call 510-397-0721 or visit us at cvsom.com. And now, here's your host of the Castro Valley Compass, Shane Sharkey.
Hi, welcome to the Castro Valley Compass. I'm your host, Shane Sharkey, and on this week's episode, we've got a couple of very interesting guests who are here to help us understand more about the housing crisis here in Alameda County, specifically how they help the owners of rental properties. Now, oftentimes we think about the housing crisis here in Alameda County and all over California, really, and we think about there not being enough affordable houses or enough affordable rentals for people. And part of that equation is certainly the people who own the houses. So we are going to be visiting with some guests from the Alameda County Housing Provider Resource Center, Haldun and Itonya. And they're going to talk about how their organization really focuses on helping people who own rental properties here in Alameda County and how to make the most out of those rental properties and provide a very useful service for us here in the Bay Area. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy the interview with Haldun and Itonya from the Alameda County Housing Provider Resource Center. Enjoy. Thank you guys for coming to the Castro Valley Compass. I appreciate you coming in, and let me give you a quick introduction. Now, these are some folks from the Alameda County Housing Provider Resource Center. And I appreciate you reaching out to me to come on the podcast, Haldun and Itonya.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks. Maybe you can explain to us, what is the ACHPRC?
Yeah,
what do you guys focus on?
Yes. Yeah, we didn't come up with the name. But essentially, after the pandemic, the county supervisors got together and realized that there was a lot of resources put out to renters and tenants. And I think they started to realize the unintended consequences of some of the policies of the moratorium. So they established the Alameda County Housing Provider Resource Center as a place for rental property owners to get assistance or have questions answered, and also get services that are available to them through the county. So rental property providers aren't usually used to asking for help. So this is kind of a new thing in this kind of a capacity. But essentially what we're here to do is to educate, advocate for rental property owners and provide them access to resources. And that looks like we have a website, and then we also have a telephone number you can call and actually talk to a person about some issues that you're having as a rental property owner. And that's where the resources kind of come in. Itonya is one of the people that answers the phones, and she could talk a little bit more about some of the calls that we get and what we're hearing from people.
Yeah. Also, I just want to kind of add, unlike cities that has governing agents over them, unincorporated doesn't. So they really wanted to provide some assistance for the property owners in those areas. So I'm there. I answer the phones when people call for questions, if they have it. So we get like general questions. It could be tenant landlord issues. It could be compliance stuff. So they call with different questions. So one of the questions is, I inherit this property. How can I sell it and basically remove the tenant? How can I sell it without the tenant in it? Or another question is, I need money to get my property updated. Where can I get that resource? So we give them resources on how they could get money.
So Alameda County has several programs out there for rental property owners. So if they want to do small repairs or repairs for people that are aging in place in their properties, they do qualify. They get small loans or grants to do these repairs. So this is like something that's not a real, people don't have knowledge of this. So we're really on the outreach side, going to let them know about programs that are available through the community. Some of it also is A1 Community Services. And they also do a lot of great things for first-time home buyers. We know that right now the housing market is kind of shifting, and there are a lot of rental properties that are going up for sale. So, we also want to let people know that if they're interested in going into the rental property business, and essentially rental property owners are small businesses, because they handle all aspects of HR, purchasing, dealing with the tenants. They also contribute to the local economies because you have rental property providers that usually have long-term tenants, and so they stabilize rent to make it more affordable. And we're also really just trying to recognize the importance of small rental property owners, mainly mom and pops in this housing market in Alameda County, and how much they do for rent stability and keeping market prices lower. So we're trying to keep that all intact. And right now, there's really, I guess, not like a run on the bank, but some people are seeing all these new regulations with just cause evictions, the balcony inspections, and the cost is starting to rise for them. So some people are trying to sell, but at the same time, with resources through Alameda County, we can try to stabilize their situation a little bit. And that's what we're trying to do, is plug into those. And everybody's situation is different. Nobody has the same problem. Each property has their own set of challenges or issues. So there's not like one common thing that we get all the time. It's a myriad of questions and situations that people need help with.
Well, it's interesting that you say mom and pop, because I know a lot of us think about landlords and we think, oh, fat cats, these guys are rich. They're just, rolling in money, and how dare they, try to squeeze me for nickel and dime the repairs or whatever. And it's really, it sounds like that's not the case for a lot of renters. Like a lot of people are these small businesses that they could definitely use a resource like yours.
Yeah, a large majority of people that rent from rental properties, they own less than 4 doors. So, we're talking about somebody who bought like a duplex and they live on the other side and they're just trying to, save up for retirement and have some passive income. So those situations are, things that we look out for, because those are the people that might need some help with the rising costs of everything that's going up right now with insurance. This is another big deal for rental property owners.
Yeah.
So we're also, a big part of what we do is advocacy. And because this program was started by the Alameda County Board of Supervisors, we do have a direct line with them to try to get the issues that we hear from the community up the chain to have them make better policy decisions about that. And there's also a lot going on in Alameda County with Measure W, and there's a big pool of money out there right now. But what we're also trying to advocate for is those smaller rental property owners who could, that have tenants in there that are older. And the reality of the situation for a lot of people here in the Bay Area, they're just like 1 or 2 paychecks away from going under some. So what we want to advocate for is more rental assistance to keep people in their places so they don't go homeless. So some of those Measure W funds we would like to see allocated, to keep people in their homes as they are now.
Yeah. Now, speaking of the market in general, would you say that there's more rentals coming on or fewer rentals available now? I mean, what is the shifting of the market right now? Is that?
Yeah. So right now, I've been doing property management for over 20 years. So right now, I'm saying it's a renter's market because there is a lot of rentals on the market. They have a lot more choices and availability of what's out there. And that's coming partly too for new buildings that's coming on the market. And they're having a hard time getting renters in there because of the price maybe, or they're offering them a few months of free rent. So those are the larger ones. And I think when you guys were talking and you talk about people thinking the landlords are the big bad landlords, I think they really are talking about larger property corporations.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're trying to prevent from happening, because the small property owners, if they can't get their rent or get it paid, they may have to sell their building, and the big corporations is the ones that's going to be taking over. And we don't want a world of...
We've also done a survey, the East Bay Rental Housing Association, which is kind of the generator of this contract with the county. They did a survey recently, and I think upwards of 40% of rental property owners that they surveyed were considering selling due to the conditions in the market, in terms of rising costs with insurance, and then also the shifting landscape of the laws. And that's where we come in. We're really here to help them navigate those shifting policies in the law. Like on our website, we just recently put up a new education learning center, so you could take classes and get up to speed on what's latest that's occurred in the last couple of years. We also have a rental housing provider handbook, which kind of goes down the list of anything that you could probably run into as a rental property owner. and let you know what the laws are around that, but also resources to try to amend problems. So that's kind of the stuff that, because we've been out here doing this work for a while, and I've been doing outreach, we've been out there in the community, and we're really finding that those kinds of resources are really helpful to people. Like when we have webinars, people show up. We've had webinars on insurance, on ADUs, and also rental mediation. There's I don't think people know this. It's not like a well-known fact, but if you're a rental property provider in an unincorporated Alameda County, you have access to free rental mediation services, and that's to keep people out of the courts. And to say that as well, we've also been at the Hayward Hall of Justice. Every Wednesday we go out there, we set up a table to talk to tenants and also rental property owners, but a lot of tenants come up to us too, because we are essentially for rental property owners, but we do have resources for renters and tenants on our website too, because we are a county program. Big shout out to Echo Housing. We've been giving them a lot of traffic for renters, and they do some amazing work out here in Hayward. So so we're really kind of like trying to be a hub for questions around rental properties, but also for renters too. If you have questions that might need rent assistance, or you may have some questions about your landlord or your rental property manager. So we're trying to be a conduit in the community to connect people to resources, because for more times than not, people don't know that they're available.
What is the website?
achprc.org.
achprc.org.
And then we also have our number, which is
510.
510. You want to go?
Yeah. 868
0070. So 510-868-0070.
Yes.
Great.
And that when you call us, you will get a live person. Like, we're living in a time of AI, we're not going to have
Right.
that. And then also we, on the website, if you do go there and you have questions, we've just updated our ticketing management system. So if you'd rather send us an email and get a question like that, or if you'd rather have a phone call with us, we would love to hear from you. Yeah.
Great. And so if somebody was considering going into the rental market as an owner, it sounds like that'd be a good place to start, just to get a sort of an overview of
Absolutely. Yeah.
what it entails.
Yeah, the learning center, he was talking about, the Learner Pond. We have different topics on there for owners to go on there and just to get updated. I always say property management isn't a hobby. It's a lot of rules and regulations that's happening now. So it's good to kind of get yourself a little bit updated on what's going on. So that's what the Learner Pond is there for. And if a property owner is starting, I'm new to this, what I need to do, we really walk you through the steps that you need to take to get your property up and running and in compliance.
Right.
And I know also, we've kind of started evolving some ideas, and one thing that's not really fully developed, but what we're talking about right now is the rent to own program that will be kind of trying to entice people to actually buy property, because that's kind of like the natural progression of growing up, is at some point you want to maybe own some property. So yeah, that's some other stuff and then also, like I mentioned earlier, A1 Community Services, they have a lot of great programs for first-time home buyers, and they're another community partner too. Yeah.
I just want to add, for the A1 services, if you're a property owner and unfortunately you're facing foreclosure or you may have to sell your property, A1 services in Hayward is good to go to, because they have foreclosure prevention, and they could kind of help you hopefully save your property as well.
How does a rent-to-own situation work for a renter? I mean, I know most of us do want to own property at some point, but is there a huge down payment involved still, or how does that work?
So the rent-to-own is usually a lender come in, but you're usually paying the property owner a little bit more money, and then part of that money is going in kind of like a savings for you to eventually come to where that could be like your down payment to own that property. So it's some lenders that do that, but we're looking in trying to grow that so more people can start owning their own property.
Wow, that's great. I mean, and would you say, I've seen some of the big reasons that people don't want to go into the rental, the landlord business, if you will. And one of the things, this may not be something we want to talk about. If not, it's okay. But I've heard of people moving into a rental and then just not leaving. They stop paying the rent, and they get these squatters' rights, and they can stay there for, I don't know, a year or 2 years or something like that.
That's a very real thing that happens, and that's something that we encounter all the time. And when we're talking to rental property owners, there's definitely horror stories around that. Part of that is getting what we talk about is education and laws, and there's paperwork that you could file to start to do proactive measures to protect yourself as a rental property owner that people may not know about. And sometimes it doesn't always take a lawyer if you have the right paperwork. Also, I will say that we just put forms on our website too, which kind of addresses some of these issues, because as long as you follow the process of the law, right, you can come out on top. But what usually happens in these instances is people don't ask for help. They might fill out the paperwork wrong. They get to court and they get taken advantage of in that aspect, because tenants are very well protected here in Alameda County. If you go to the Hayward Hall of Justice, courtroom 511, on Wednesdays, you'll see that's when they hold court and the hall's full, and you have a bunch of resources for tenants, but there's nobody there for rental property owners, and that's why we're there. Because just in this last month that we've been out there, we ran into people who filled out forms wrong, and they were in risk of losing back months of rent because they just didn't do the paperwork right. So that's stuff that we have when we're out there at the Alameda County the Hayward Hall of Justice. We have a lawyer, Margaret Allen Esquire, who's there not to give advice, but to just make sure your stuff is right if you need those questions answered. So that's another resource that we have. And if people are experiencing that, that's why we want them to reach out to us, because we're helping them navigate the system. And that's essentially what we're here to do.
Yeah.
That's great.
I just wanted to add, too, that they're coming up with more laws to prevent the squatter issues. They're coming up with more laws on that. And what Haldun was talking about is the unlawful detainer, if you have to fill that out, which is the beginning of the eviction process to get someone out of your unit. We're really there to help you. And that's also saving owners a lot of money, because an eviction could be anywhere from $2,500 to $4,000.
Without the money that you're owed for the rent.
With losing the money that you're not getting for the rent on top of that. So us being able to help you fill out that paperwork is really saving owners some time and money, because tenants, there's a lot of lawyers out there that kind of helps them, and they look at that paperwork, and if they see one thing that's wrong, that delays the process of getting someone out your place.
That's more money not paying rent. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, call us. Give us a call. Yeah. That's what we're here for.
So it sounds like every Wednesday you're out at the Hayward Hall of Justice?
Yeah, from 8:30 to noon.
8:30 to noon, okay. So,
and we have a lawyer with us, but she's not there to get legal advice. She's just there to kind of check your paperwork and make sure that you're, marching along properly. So it has been a great resource for people that are there. And some people, they'll walk in and, on the way out, that's when they'll talk to us. I mean, everybody, when they're going to court in the morning, they just want to get a seat, right?
They rushing, they're trying to get logged in. I'm here. Don't drop my case. I've been waiting, really waiting for months. I feel just me. I also manage a building, and this year alone, I've been more in eviction court than I could say my 20 years of property management, I've been at the court.
Really?
So long, so many times.
And just kind of going back to what I kind of started off with, like Measure W's, we really want the community to know that there's got to be resources for people who are already housed, and you're trying to prevent them from being unhoused. And so I know that the big focus is on homeless people on the streets, but there's also, like I said, a ton of people
trying to prevent homelessness.
Yes, trying to prevent homelessness. So that's what we're advocating for as well. Yeah, we don't want anybody on the streets. No.
We don't.
Definitely. And it's interesting because the whole law of supply and demand, helping to have a more plentiful rentals available, brings down the price in theory. But we really want to make sure that those risks that the property owners are taking are minimized, and they have somebody to support them so that we can have this.
Yeah, and I think the big, thing that we're trying to do is create a community. These rental property owners are small businesses, and they're on their own, but we're really trying to tell them that they're not. And the more that we talk to each other, I mean, housing is an ecosystem. And so it does take a part of the tenant, the rental property owners, the county, the laws to make the best practices available, but also streamline some of these processes to, get people housed, but also keep people housed too. So the more we talk to each other, I think the more that we can come up with solutions to some of the issues that we're having, and that let people know that they're not alone, because we all want people to be housed. I mean, this is the Bay Area. We have, very liberal policies and liberal people here. And so trying to figure out the solution to this problem is not easy, but the more we're talking to each other and not villainizing one another. I think the more that we can come to more reasonable solutions in a reasonable time.
Definitely. Well, it sounds like you guys are coming from a very solution-oriented place there.
Well, we just have access to resources, and just information. It's just really plugging people in is what is really the big part of what we do, I think.
And I think the property owners need to know you're not alone. It's like when you're navigating your property and you don't know the laws, you don't know what you're supposed to do, you don't know what you can't do. I think this is a great resource to come and call or email, and we can let you know, hey, and kind of walk you through some steps or point you to the right direction or the right organization that could help. So we're really like this one big one-stop hub of information.
Yes.
So it sounds like if somebody were to come into, say, a property they inherited, and now they've got to figure out, do I sell it? Do I want to try renting it out? It might be a good place to start, just to contact you guys and see what their options are, like realistically what their options are.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of that happens. I
just got a call like that last week. So that's a real thing. I just want to know what I need to do next.
Right.
We don't want to keep the property.
And also, for the people who have inherited the properties, for more times than not, the properties taxes are lower. So, they can keep the rents lower. There's no low overhead. Mm-hmm. But when they sell the property tax gets readjusted, the housing, so it goes higher. So the costs are obviously going to go higher. So we would like to keep those legacy rentals in families because general overhead is just lower and it's more opportunities to keep people house below market rate.
Right. Well, one more time, what's the website?
achprc.org, and the number is 510-868-0070. And just come to our website. We have several tabs. We have the Learning Center tab. We have the owners and managers. We also have those for renters as well. Just to go over just the latest additions, we've updated our forms, our ticketing system. We have forms that are available to you. Our Learning Center has more classes now. We have the ACHPRC Housing Provider Handbook. We also have a couple webinars that are up there. And community partnerships. And also we have an event coming up for the East Bay Rental Housing Association. It's an expo. You want to talk about that? It's called EBRA 360, and it's happening September 27th, right?
Yes, September 27th in Oakland, the Rotunda building. And it's like a one-stop shop for property owners. So we're going to have a whole bunch of different vendors there. If you're looking for a vendor, we have our legal panel, which is always the hot topic panel. And we have our experts that's going to be talking. We're also going to be doing some other workshops and having some games and, of course, food.
Yeah, and it's just a great space to meet other rental property owners, people that are in the field, and also be aware of new technologies that are out, for security or energy efficiency things out there for your properties. I know a lot of people want to go green. We'll go for it. Yeah.
I was going to say we're also having a topic on insurance, which has been a really big topic, especially in California.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't show up on a proposition sometime in the next couple of years, some insurance proposition. But that's a great place to just be around people that are in your similar circumstance and just get information of how it's going for other folks.
Yeah, and just networking and kind of getting ideas on what's worked for you in the past. And maybe I'm considering going into the rental market, and I'm worried about a few things, but to talk to somebody who's been through it and network with them.
Better if you inherit it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yes. But if you don't inherit it, we can help you too.
Great. So again, that was September 22nd?
27th in downtown Oakland at the Rotunda building.
From 9 to 3.
Yes, and you can go, we'll have ebra.com, EBRHA.com has the registration forms on there. But we are achprc.org.
And we'll put it on our website.
I'll do that when I get back to the office.
Right. Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming in and joining me on the podcast today.
Thank you. And so much, really, just want to say Castro Valley is such a great city. She's lived here before. I come down here a lot for work. We just really love this area. And for the people that are rental property owners in this area, please reach out to us because you're the people that we're looking for. And thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, appreciate you guys coming on and sharing that info with us. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are going to find some great resources out there with you.
All
so
right.
Thank you so much.
All right. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Wow, that was a pretty interesting conversation, full of stuff that I hadn't really thought about before. The whole small business aspect of mom and pop type property owners that are opening their properties up to rentals and learning all about, how that process works. It's really important to have an organization like the Alameda County Housing Provider Resource Center to help them. And also the fact that they're helping not just the people who own the properties, but they're also helping out the renters as well. I think definitely worth giving their website a visit and seeing how they might be able to help you if you're in that position of trying to rent out a space or even looking for a space. So anyhow, that's going to do it for the Castro Valley Compass this week. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. If you've got any suggestions for any guests that would like to be on the podcast, please reach out to us. Our email is info@castrovalleycompass.com. That's info@castrovalleycompass.com. We'd love to hear your ideas and have you get involved. Thanks so much. I'm Shane Sharkey, your host of the Castro Valley Compass. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Castro Valley Compass, navigating your week through Castro Valley. Do you have an idea for the show, or would you like to get involved? We'd love to hear from you. You can send us an email at info@castrovalleycompass.com. That's info@castrovalleycompass.com. See you next time on the Castro Valley Compass, brought to you by the Castro Valley School of Music.